So pleased to welcome Steph Curry to the podcast. Thrilled, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're here at Ridgewood Country Club in New Jersey for the Curry Cup.
Yes.
The underrated season. And the atmosphere in the first tee was phenomenal. I have to say, I've never seen anything quite like it. It was so chill for so much at stake.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to start talking golf first. You've dedicated so much time, so many resources toward diversifying the game. How do you measure the success of that so far? And what's your long-term vision?
I think 3 years in and kind of looking at the imprint of how we've entered the golf space, I kind of measure success, one, by the feedback from the kids on their experience first and foremost, and their families. Like, some of these kids go to other junior tournaments and have been a part of like the competitive environment in golf, and they've seen it all. And just giving them a first-class experience that, is memorable for them, and instills not just, on course skills, but off course resources and skills that can help them develop a perspective of, I want to be a great professional golfer, obviously, and put everything into it, but what other professions might be something that I'm interested in? What other networking resources do I have? What's the roadmap to invest in myself both on and off the course? Secondly is the courses that we get to come to, and the access that, is evolving in a great way for the game of golf. We're here at Ridgewood Country Club in Paramus, New Jersey, and the fact that they opened their doors and has given us the run of the place for 3 days essentially, and allowing these kids to play a championship, golf course that's hosted so many other amazing professional and amateur events. Like, that's huge. And they're validating what we're doing and the way that we're doing it here at the Underrated Golf Tour. And then, for the future, like, continue to create opportunity in the game of golf, getting kids scholarships to play at the next level, and, instilling that confidence that they are going to be prepared to play and handle the stresses of being a collegiate golfer. But hopefully the North Star is you have somebody on either the men or women's side that's going to be, playing professional golf on whatever tour, and is going to look back and like, yeah, I got my start at the Underrated Golf Tour. Like, that to me would be such a monumental moment, and we're headed in that direction. And then obviously being able to cast our net wide across different regions internationally as well. So I'm excited about where we're at 3 years in and the momentum that we have.
Speaking of the next level, you've also invested heavily in Howard and their golf programs. How gratifying was it to see the men's team get to regional action this year? And what's your role in involvement with the players in the program there?
Yeah, I mean, there were 5 years since the commitment was made to bring Division I golf back at Howard and support both the men's and women's programs. And I think this is coming into their 4th full season, and it's awesome to know, to your point, the men's side especially, they've been winning at a high level. They won the HBCU PGA Works Invitational 2 years in a row. Played in a regional and NCAA tournament this year. We have Greg Odom Jr., EJ Whiten, who were played in some Korn Ferry events and PGA events and are waving the Howard flag. Kendall Jackson, on the women's side, she qualified for the USAM this year. So we're showing up in the places that we need to. The Howard program is becoming a destination for some top talent. And I think, obviously my role, from the financial commitment to make sure you're working towards an endowment that can support this, both the men's and women's side for, hopefully decades to come. And the scholarships that went from 2 on each side now up to 6, and just trying to continue to allow golf to be a vehicle for these kids to have a great college experience, to go to a great HBCU, hopefully graduate, and then hopefully pursue golf at a high level.
It also seems like you have, you rattle off these names effortlessly. You seem to have such good connections with the kids. It's not like drive-by.
Oh, no.
Signing an autograph.
They're integrated in pretty much everything they do. Kendall came out to me and my wife's foundation, Eat, Learn, Play. We have a charity event every year. She came out from the East Coast and played in it last Wednesday. Greg and EJ, the two guys I mentioned, and talk to them, every so often if they ever have questions, being a resource that's available to them. But I get to see them 2 or 3 times a year. So, obviously busy schedule. I'm all over the place from the basketball scene. But yeah, I want to be available to them and understand, like, there's a reason I'm doing this beyond just writing a check. It's like I want to be involved in the program. And Coach Sam Perrier has been doing an amazing job. Like, he knows I'm available as well.
Tomorrow's KPMG Leadership Day. What's the overall message that I know you're going to be speaking that you hope the juniors here leave with?
I think overall is like we are fully committed to developing the full golfer both on and off the course. And I think the leadership day that we have with KPMG started last year where, we brought them down to Stanford University, and Mariah Stackhouse was there as kind of a living embodiment of the journey that they're on, coming from Atlanta and trying to pursue golf. Obviously going to Stanford, playing professionally now, like she's walked the walk and she can kind of tell them what to kind of expect. But for us to be able to give them access to resources that, again, are giving them work and life development skill sets that, will prepare them for whatever they end up doing, in the coming years, going through the ranks. And, again, I say this golf is a vehicle, right? Like networking, bringing people, it unifies so many different industries and professions, and you want to give them an inspiration, like, or a curiosity of, hey, if I want to pursue something outside of the game of golf, like there's a way to do it, and there's kind of a roadmap that they can follow. So hopefully they take that confidence away and they get something out of it.
Shift gears to your own golf game here for a second. When you made an ace in Tahoe and ran the entire length of the hole, you absolutely radiated joy. What is it about this game that you fell in love with as a 10-year-old?
It's the constant chase of trying to get better, but also the humility that comes with the game as well. Like, you could have so much clarity and hit the shots you want and play the best round of your life, come back the next day and, lose it all. So I started playing when I was about 10 years old and been on that same, journey for the last 25 years. So I just love the competitive nature that you have with yourself, but also the patience and perseverance that you need to have as well. And whether you're playing in Tahoe at a celebrity event that kind of matters, like my Super Bowl in golf, or you're playing just a casual match, whatever, on a weekend, like, I want to play well, I want to enjoy myself, and that competition that search for like the perfect shot, it's kind of intoxicating. So I love it, and it hasn't gotten old, not one time.
So let's talk about nerves for a second. I was actually thinking about how nervous I would be, and I'm surprised that these juniors aren't more nervous with you. Like, right behind them they're hitting a tee shot. Do you get more nervous playing golf than you do playing basketball?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I played on. I got a sponsor's exemption into the Ellie Mae Classic, which was it was the web.com event back in the day, and they announced my name on the first tee. I almost blacked out, to be honest. Like, I remember them saying, "Oh, from Charlotte, North Carolina," and then said my name. And after that, it was just autopilot. Like, I have no idea how my body got through it. I literally was so nervous, I blacked out. Same thing in Tahoe. Like, there's just a different rush and adrenaline because basketball is such a reactionary sport. And once I get nervous for the games, but once you start playing, it's like you're kind of free. Golf, it's you hit a shot, all right, you got to master what's going on between the ears. All right, you hit a shot, you got to do that over and over and over again for 4 hours. So, yeah, golf definitely gets me rattled from time to time.
So what advice would you give the juniors who are trying to overcome competition, fear, and nerves?
I saw, when I was out there, I actually was paying close attention to how each one of them approached like 5 to 10 minutes before their tee time and going into their first shot. A lot of them, I didn't know that, I wasn't doing it when I was a kid. A lot of them were doing some good breath work. Like, they were actually trying to control their nerves and, center their mind. I could tell like it was either closing their eyes and visualizing what was going on, taking some very purposeful deep breaths. But more so, you just have to it's just reps. You have to get yourself into these environments so you can kind of normalize it a little bit. Otherwise, you won't ever kind of overcome it, or you won't ever get comfortable with it. So I like that part of it. The kids that have been on our tours for, the last 3 years, and Ashley Shaw, who was 13 when she first started, she's 15 now. Like, she's played in probably 12 to 13 events. So I'm sure she's, becoming more of a master of how to handle her emotions and her nerves on those first tee boxes.
What's something Mariah Stackhouse, we were talking a little bit ago, she said what really drew her to what you're doing here is the idea that it's a tour, and that, college coaches can measure your success. You're playing for points. There's a system you're trying to succeed within, and you're learning how to travel and all these things that are so different than when you just play in your local events. What inspired you to create a tour?
A reflection of like, what's the destination? The destination hopefully is a professional, experience, and so we wanted to have our version of that, where you want it to be as polished. Like you said, you're a tour member, you have a tour card, it becomes a family at that point where, not only are they playing great golf and competing, they're building friendships too. And I'm sure on the tour, like, you see the guys and ladies on the LPGA, like, have their little cliques, and who's been playing together for the long time, and that familiarity, it matters because they're on the road so much, and it's a grind. So where our events are a little bit more spaced out, but to your point, like, you got to pack up, you got to go to an unfamiliar city, you got to go to a course you might not have ever seen before, you got to be able to prepare your mind and your body to compete and be ready for when the lights are bright. And you want to have that turnover from year to year. I love the way she said it, like, to have something to measure, because we're all trying to get better. So who can do that the best?
I know your Christian faith is at the center of everything that you do. I'm curious how your faith impacts how you view success and failure in sports. How you internalize it?
It's a great question. I think I'm never really results based on, that defining who you are, because, my purpose is bigger than that. And it gives you a sense of, the purpose comes out in the process of how I approach everything. So, you try to respect the fact that, I've been given this skill set and this opportunity, whether it's basketball, golf, whatever I'm doing. It's an opportunity to share love and joy and gratitude for what we're able to do. And you give everything to it, not really worried about the outcome, because like, what's for you will be for you, and it's your job to make the most of it. So I think for me, like, I've been through so many ups and downs. I've won a lot, lost a lot, missed shots, made shots, done things the right way, had some missteps, like whatever you call it, but you always are trying to get a little bit better every single day. And for me, like, my purpose comes in how I approach and how I do things, not the end result. End result is nice and it's great, and it helps shine a light on the other things that I'm doing, but it doesn't define who you are. So I appreciate that.
When did you come to that belief system?
Since I was 3rd or 8th grade, essentially, in youth group in Charlotte, North Carolina. But the first time I made a decision for myself, my mom had me in church when I was growing up, and it was part of our family values. But you have to make that decision for yourself and commit to living a life like that. So, since I was 13.
I want to talk a little bit about the zone. Every athlete wants to get into the zone. Is there anything you do in your preparation to help you get into that stage more often? And if so, in basketball, have you been able to transfer that over to golf?
Yeah, a lot of what I was talking about the kids doing, why I noticed it, like, there's times where you need to kind of sit still and close your eyes and visualize what's about to happen or what you think is about to happen, to kind of, be present. We call it just be where your feet are. And, life is at such a fast pace now and a lot of noise and distractions. It's hard to get away. So you have to be very purposeful about that. Breathing techniques to calm your nerves and to kind of center yourself. And then at the end of the day, I want to have fun. Like I have to have a smile on my face. And, sometimes it turns into a scowl or, that kind of killer instinct face comes out. But for the most part, it's come a place of joy. That's how I operate. That's not for everybody, but that's how I operate. So I try to maintain that no matter what context of the game it is or whether I've been playing well or I haven't. You have to remind yourself like this is a blessing. This is fun. So that's usually when I'm at my best.
Speaking of having fun, Lydia Ko recently won the British Open right after she won the gold in Paris. And she was asked to compare the two feats. And she said, that's like asking me if I love my mother or my father. So I'm not going to ask you which means more to you, your BA titles or a gold medal. But when you look back on that time in Paris, what are you most grateful for?
I think the further you get away from it, like the highs of, I'm looking around because I have my medal here and I'm like, I always keep it on my, I don't know where, there it is.
Oh, wow. Well, look at that.
How about that? So I think the highs of like the accomplishment, the stakes, like we're Team USA basketball, we're not supposed to lose. And there's a lot of pressure and relief when you win because you sometimes can imagine like what the alternative universe would kind of be like if we didn't win. So once you get through that, I think what I'm most proud of and what I remember the most is that collection of 12 guys that were in the locker room. You look at, myself, LeBron, Katie, who've been around, the longest, and we're kind of the elder statesmen of the team, the younger guys who are the new faces of the league, and everywhere in between. Like, it's, especially in today's age, it's really hard for, 12 different stories to come together and have a level of sacrifice and commitment to the group to get something done like that when we knew it was going to be a challenge. And memories for a lifetime with those guys. I've played with some of them, I've been teammates. Others I played against for years and liked them, didn't like them all the way through, but created friendships and bonds through this experience that I'll be forever grateful for. So I'm most proud of the way that everybody came together and sacrificed for the group, and that was the only way that we could ever really get it done.
How long have you been carrying that around in your pocket?
Since August 10th at 11:45 p.m. Paris time. So it's yeah.
Where's it going?
Long build up. I have no idea. I don't. This is the one. So like when you win a trophy or a ring, I look at it for maybe a day or two and then I put it away. This one, that's the only reason it feels different, just because I was the Olympics bring something different out of you. And the challenges are different. There's a sense of pride, obviously, representing your country. And being an athlete amongst the Team USA athletes, like for me, I know I've accomplished a lot in the league, and they were all trying to take pictures with the basketball team, like, whatever our profile is. But I was more wide-eyed of just, these are the best in the world at whatever they do, whatever sport it is, whatever skill set, whatever competition or event. So being on that boat with all 590-something Team USA athletes was, for me, such a cool experience. And I was a fan of, everybody, trying to watch as much Olympic coverage as I could. Went to gymnastics and volleyball in person. So it just brought out a different sense of pride of being an athlete representing your country. And thankfully, we got a gold to show for it.
Awesome. I want to wrap up with your kids. Do they play golf?
So my 9-year-old took her first golf lessons this month, and my son, who's 6, he plays in our backyard a little bit, and I've taken him out to the course before. So I'm 2 for 3 so far, and we have a 4-month-old that who knows what'll happen. So, and my wife is playing now, so she's new to the game as like a couple years ago. So, super excited. Yeah, I want it to be a family thing that she could play for life, and we're heading in that direction.
Is the next lesson scheduled?
It is. It's a social thing now. She's going with a couple friends, but yeah, she loved it. She seemed like she was having fun, so we'll see.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.